Hi everybody, welcome to Admissions and 15 Adventures, and I thank you very much for liking any of my videos and subscribing to the channel. It is greatly appreciated. Let's get on with today's adventure. Hi everybody. So on October 27th, we went to the Overlynn Mansion in Burnaby, British Columbia. It is recognized as one of the most haunted mansions in Burnaby itself. We went for an event sponsored, or I should say, started with the original Vancouver Coldspotters. Now, these, I guess, they're ghost hunters, and they look for evidence and whatever else they could find. What I'll be doing is just basically showing you the mansion. I went there for a couple reasons. One was that one of the filming location for the movie It, the 1990s TV series, which I thought was great, and I'll make a little clip about those things later. But I also thought it was fascinating, knowing that it is a haunted mansion and it's been around for over 100 years. And they showed some clips and evidence and what they've collected over the years. And it was nice to see the couple people there doing it. I will put in their links and tag them in the clips, so they have all the recognition from all the hard work they do and the nights they spent in that castle. Or the mansion. I will tell you one thing. I walked a little bit around up their bedroom by myself when most of the kids were away, and it's a really weird feeling. Calvin is the gentleman you see in a video. He talked about that spending many nights there by himself. It's I don't know. It's a strange atmosphere. I would love to go in there late or early one morning just to sit and hear the sound. When I'm walking around with filming this, many times I'm wondering, am I hearing the same thing I just heard from the clips they were showing in the room before we walked around and had a tour of the thing? I hopefully one day we'll have a chance to go back in without 100 people in there, and maybe just a handful, and experience more of the building. Yeah, so I thank you for tuning in. Hopefully I could get this up tonight on Halloween night, and we'll see where this goes. During the clip, it's 40 minutes long. Calvin was nice enough to send me some of the recordings they have captured over the years at the Overlynn Mansion, and I'm going to include these into the audio. I will put them, mix them in here and there, or I don't know. I don't want to put them at the end, but it's kind of weird and creepy, and I will do my best to incorporate it when I'm walking around the mansion part. So I won't do it when he's talking on any of the clips, but I'll do it afterwards when I'm walking around and talking and doing my own BS. So enjoy this, guys. It was an interesting night. Hopefully I'll get a chance to go back in there and experience it without 100 kids running around. But it was interesting. If you have a chance to go visit the Overlynn Mansion, take it. Maybe one day you'll see a ghost. Okay, go.
We've all been here quite a few times. You know our names by now. Do you perchance remember any of our names? Who's in here with us?
That's a get out.
Somebody in here, please say hello.
Hello.
Is the mother in here?
Okay.
Not at this time. Are you tired now? Are you trying to do it? Does that take a lot of energy?
Well, I came back. We're gonna go back to the Overlynn Mansion. I just wanted to show you the skylines in Vancouver on almost a Halloween night. So we're coming back tonight to a real haunted mansion. This is the first time I'm gonna be able to get into this building. This is awesome. This is the Overlynn Mansion in Burnaby, British Columbia. Many movies were filmed in here, very hard to get into, and I am looking forward to this. Oh my God.
Tonight we're going to celebrate all things haunted.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good. Come on in. You can.
Thank you very much.
Hi. Welcome.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Calvin Price. This is Marlene Whittle. And we're with a paranormal investigation and research group called Coldspotters. And so our group, the Coldspotters, a little background. We started in 2012. And we've investigated in a lot of places, and we've learned a lot of things over the years, and what could be paranormal and what could not be paranormal. We've been coming here to the mansion since 2016, and we've spent we've spent many nights here, wandering around at 3 o'clock in the morning in utter darkness, and a lot of fun. It's fun for us, not so much fun for other people, I guess. But we've captured a lot of evidence over the years, and some of it we're going to share with you tonight, so we're very excited about that. This is the first time we've actually done an event like this. We've done a few smaller sessions in the past, but this is the first time we've done, you know, a crowd of this size, so this is something for us, and it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody, I think. So. Actually, we've got some history of the mansion that we'd like to give, Marlene.
Yeah. So Charles Peters and his family, they were originally from Chicago. They moved to Winnipeg, Manitoba, and that move was because Charles Peters used to buy for general store as a manager exotic goods. He knew where to get the specialty teas and the spices that you couldn't get around here. So in Winnipeg, they moved and they worked at the store, and the store decided to franchise and open one here in Vancouver. And they asked Charles, would you move you and your family to Vancouver and set it up? And he said, certainly. So he started building the house here. The house, the architect that helped build this house also was the architect that was part of the team for the Empress in Victoria, the Empress Hotel, and part of the Parliament as well. A lot of the house has exotic woods that were imported from Asia. You can see all the handcrafted plaster moldings. There's ebony and ivory inlays. And you can see dotted throughout the house, there are wallpapers that are hand painted on canvas. So they spared no expense. They had staff, they had a butler, and they were a very well-to-do family in the area. When the house was being built, the closest house was down the street, and the Strathcona family lived there. And they would make sure he had hot water and everything else while the house was coming along. Eventually the Peters family moved in, they had a nice life in here. And of course we know the Spanish flu hit this area. And unfortunately his wife got sick and she passed away. And shortly after, his young daughter also got sick and passed away. And just within days of each other. It was during the winter, there was a lot of snow, and the doctor, of course, is in a horse and carriage and had trouble coming up the hill. So they were laid out in here, in the parlor, and then eventually they were moved. There was a carriage house on the property, and they were moved there. After that had happened, Mr. Peters decided to move his family back to the States, to Chicago. He didn't want to stay here, and they left. And then a nice nunnery, then a convent showed up. And they are an active convent that's still in existence today in Halifax. And they were a musical group. They loved to sing. It was all about music with these ladies. And they came here and they turned the glass atrium into a chapel. It's still a chapel today. That chapel, they would host their, all their church goings and everything, and they decided they wanted to do more for the community. So they opened the house up to children, and children lived here with the nuns. This was a very happy home. There are still children's reports from the 70s who were, at that time are now adults, saying that this was some of the best days of their life. These are children that were not being accepted into foster care, they weren't being well taken care of, and the nuns said, we'll take them, we'll take them. So,
and it can cause anything from auditory hallucinations to visual hallucinations. And so the real purpose of this device is to determine the high-end frequencies in someone's home, because then you can kind of easily debunk or deduce if the place is actually haunted or not. But on those television shows, you'll see these guys walking around like this and going, oh, there's a hit over here, and oh, there's a hit over here. Yeah, right? That's just for entertainment purposes only, and not what they're really supposed to be used for. Some of the other gadgets we have. One of the things that we notice when we're investigating is every once in a while we'll get a big drop in temperature, and it's one of the theories in paranormal investigating that a ghost will use the energy around him. He'll draw on your thermal energy and the energy in the immediate area to make himself more present, to be able to move objects or to try to communicate or bang on a wall or in some fashion. So we always keep one of these going at all times. This acts as a temperature gauge. It also does read EMFs in the environment, but more importantly it does temperature. So sometimes when we see a huge drop in temperature, we've collected evidence at the exact same time, they can kind of corroborate each other a little bit. So very, very important to have one of these when you're investigating. Is that the last one? Yeah, we'll play these a couple of times so everybody can hear it. Yeah, right? It's like a thing. So the next one here. Okay, so what we also did, we've also learned over the years what kind of little knocks. Knox and voice tower. Okay, so one night when we were here.
like a dog. That happened inside.
Yeah.
Two dogs. Those ones are a little hard to hear. There's a shuffling one.
We are happy to share this with anybody that would like to get a copy of it. So if you give us your email address, we'd be happy to send you any of the files that we have. So you can. What's this one here?
You can see what the kind of box looks
I just want to say one thing before we listen to all of these. Okay, so the device that we captured these recordings on, it's called a Panabox, and it was made back in the 90s. And it's kind of a dictaphone kind of thing, like for self memos, buy bread, and a lot of people were returning them because they would record their memos, and then there'd be these really crazy voices attached to the playback. And the company that made them, they recalled them and reissued them, and suddenly the problem was fixed. But the ones that made it to market have stayed out there, and they've rotated into the paranormal world. They sell for like anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 on eBay. So whoever bought them for $20 back in 1997 is really making a killing now. So what it does is when we record and we play it back, probably at least 40 to 50% of the time we'll get a direct reply. Before we play the next one, the voices that reply back to us through these devices, we jokingly refer to them as the angry men because they sound pretty harsh. There's a lot of force behind their responses. But we just wanted to kind of preface these by saying, at no time at all, in all the times that we've stayed here or investigated, I spent probably at least 3 or 4 nights here by myself, nobody else here. Never had any feeling of malice in this house. There's been no feeling of there could be evil spirits in here or demons or whatever. It's always been very neutral, but very welcoming as well. So it's probably what keeps us coming back. But having said that, the responses on these Panabox devices, no matter where you use them, you get these really kind of gruff replies. So you could be sitting in your own living room. So just keep that in mind. I think that sometimes spirits, they need to use so much energy when they're trying to communicate with us that it's almost like they gotta yell at us to be heard, like yes, But there was one on here that was kind of made us raise our eyebrows as we were told to get out. So it's probably the most negative response we've ever gotten. Maybe the spirit that we were trying to communicate with was fed up with us sitting here bombarding us with questions, and he literally wanted us to get out of his house. So I kind of see it that way. There were people too once, and they probably have annoyances just like everybody else does. And so, Dave, you want to start at the top?
Sure.
Okay, so this one here, we asked for an age, and we actually got a response. We'll play it a couple of times, just to make sure everybody kind of hears it right. Oh,
So we hear 27. How old are you?
So this next one here.
So that right there. Yeah, Amanda.
Yeah.
So we are. That's what we're talking about right there.
this next one here, this is the Get Out audio clip. You didn't seem too happy.
That's a good test.
All right.
So, and then we got a much nicer hello on the next one.
So right back.
And then this one here, I believe.
Okay.
So that was not at this time.
Not at the time. We asked if the butler was in the room. A lot of these sessions were in that small room just across the hall. That was the butler's room with this butler many times. And so when we asked if this was the butler, he gave us that response. So I guess it wasn't. So what that clip is kind of referring to, we have some video, and we had a bit of a strange occurrence one night. You don't typically see a lot of ghosts when you're paranormal investigating. There's matrixing, you know, like when you look at the clouds and you see a turtle or something like that. You know, we kind of think of it that way. You can see things in the dark, the shadows, and think you're seeing something, but then you turn the light on and it's nothing. So one night we had our closed circuit TV set up, and they're silent, so there's no sound on it. And we would have them strewn all over the house, and kind of all hooked into a central server. And I think Marlene was working there.
Yeah, so there's an alcove on the other side of this wall here, a small alcove, and I was sitting down there. We have a long table, and I have quite a few monitors set up. I'm not normally by myself, but at this point, just because we had a group above us and then another group in the attic, I was by myself, broke the golden rule, don't sit by yourself. But what caught my eye on the video camera was the fact that I saw the most giganticest moth that I've ever seen, and all I can think is, because I'm sitting in the pitch dark, all I can see is the monitor, and all I can think is, this moth is gonna get in my hair. And then I see something else, and I'm like, must be the moth. When everybody comes back downstairs, I'm talking about this giant moth. It's the biggest moth you've ever seen in your life. So now we all gotta look at the big moth. And lo and behold, we don't see a moth at all. We see an arm. So this is the video. So right here, there's gonna be, looks like right there, someone's gonna peek and there's gonna be an arm coming out. I'm gonna play it again and I will go over it again. So, peek and an arm. There's, do y'all see the arm? Yes. Yeah. So at that time, I was the only one on this floor. That actually happened on the corner right there, actually just behind where you're standing, ma'am. So we're not really sure who that was, but I was the only one on the floor at the time, and I was in the alcove. Everybody else was one floor or 2 floors above. So that was.
We had a large group that night, and we extensively questioned. And it'll get to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we get a little tired. We use this area here just to kind of lay down and just kind of veg and try to get a second wind. And we'll leave the cameras and recorders going while we do that. And so I think there was 4 or 5 of us here that night, and it was like completely silent, and we're all laying there. All of a sudden we hear this kind of a throat clearing, almost like one of those impatient kind of throat clearing. And we all sat up, and was that you? No. Was that you? No. It wasn't me. And so one of our investigators had a camera in the dining room in the adjoining room next to us. And so he went and got it, and he rolled it back a few minutes, and we scanned through it, and this is what we captured.
gonna be coming up. I'm just gonna bring it up here. It happens at the 25 mark, so it's coming up pretty soon here. Very hard to hear, so we did enhance it with our audio, so now you can hear what we heard. So you can hear that throat clearing. Made us all sit up in our little beds.
Yeah. So these 25, I mean, that's just a very small kind of percentage.
Was that you that I saw waving your arm by the camera?
Yeah, right? Wow.
You're welcome. So again, please watch the board here. This was the parlor. Does everybody know why they called it the parlor?
No, I don't know why.
So if you think about now, we say funeral parlor. Well, this was the parlor, and in the early 60s, they decided that people were talking and they said, you know what? Why don't we stop calling it a parlor where you lay out your dead and we start calling it a living room or the living hangout. So that's how they kind of coined that phrase. And now it's not seen as often where your loved ones would be laid out in the living room with the family. Okay, so when you're ready, we'll come down here.
Let's see what she has to say.
All right.
No, you're staying down here. Oh,
And I do have this working. Try. Oh, there we go. So this is the dining room. You can go through if you'd like, or you can come this way, it's whatever you prefer.
don't say anything.
It's a little bit more modern, so it's not quite.
Yeah.
It's not the original.
You mean the Coke and the chips aren't original?
When you this staircase, this could be
What's in here?
I don't know, I'm just.
Sure. I can. Oh, you're wait. Are you part
No,
of
no,
the?
I work for Seton.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They would have sleeping porches. So there are, on this floor and the floor above, sleeping porches where it's cooler to come out and spend the night. Beds would be set up by the staff, and then you wouldn't be so hot. Yeah, and we can go out there.
Yeah. This is it.
You'll notice the temperature difference when you go out there.
Before air conditioning and television.
Yeah. Yeah, but feel free to go out and check it out. And there
So it's
is,
got a title.
imagine how beautiful it was in 1910. Yeah. Yeah.
That's hot.
Yes.
That's a nice touch.
There's so much stained glass. I mean, it must have cost a small force in the house.
You're not getting free. You're not running away. Yes. Not yet. Oh, look at, I'm saying, look at the woodwork. Yeah. I mean, it must have taken them a fortune, not in money, but in time to make that. Yeah. Could you imagine? Your ankle.
So this is the room where John Ritter
Gorgeous house. Must have lots of money to do that.
is really cool.
I got that feeling that if I'm going to do this and turn my light on, I'm going to have someone looking at me like that. So I just did it, and I appreciated it. Definitely not alone. So yeah, that was the experience. That it wasn't bad. It's just a little unnerving. So we come through here. I don't know who else.
Oh, what? You can get up the wall. No, you can't.
Well,
All souls day. Do you know what? You don't want to mess things up. You know what? Don't stir the pot. Don't stir the pot. You know, they're happy. Let's let them happy.
Mama, that's for you and I. Small window, we can see outside. Yes. You're going up to the All right, you can sit down. Sit down with the boy girl.
Dining room or is dining room on the other side?
That's the first floor, Overlynn. If there are those that are wanting to go upstairs, we can definitely do the switch. And I'll just let everybody know. The kitchen's in the back. We're not able to go in the kitchen because they have been doing repairs on the ceiling. So they've asked us.
I have to. There was once that me, my mom, and my friend, we were in the dining room. My friend came out into like the doorway, and he saw apparently a priest walking over that chair. That chair was over there before, so that he saw this priest walking from that corner towards the chair, sitting down. It was
And in fact, the little peak that you see, whoever peeks around the corner, and then you see the arm. Interestingly enough, we are all adults that come here on our paranormal team. We've never brought a child, and I actually brought my son. My husband dropped me off, and our son, who was 8 years old at the time, came with us because he wanted to see the mansion. He hears about it, so he wanted to see it. He loved it. He was running around in here looking at everything. He thought it was the greatest place, and that was very interesting that that was the night that we caught the video. of someone about this high, and they were long gone, they did not stay. And this was very late at night, someone peeking and then an arm almost like grabbing them back. Like, oh, no, 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 no. So, very interesting. Yeah, okay. So those that want to go upstairs, Calvin will be down in a second and we can switch. And the next group is more than welcome and we'll take, yeah, they're coming down.
Ouch.
Sorry.
Watch the doorknob. What did you do? That's why you had
I'm always...
on that side and it hurts.
Yeah. Oh, there is light.
Yeah, I think just this room. So this particular room and the adjoining ones are the ones that I feel we've gotten probably a good bulk of the evidence that we've accumulated over the years. We were up here one time and we had the kitchen door downstairs just slammed shut. And we didn't have the cameras going at the time. And that was one of the instances where it's like, okay, as soon as we walk in, gotta have some sort of recording device going because just, you never know when something's gonna happen. And we were up here doing an investigation session, and I asked the reporter, did you slam the door? And the reply was a very resounding yes, you know, and very forceful. So I don't know if they were displeased with us that night or not, but kind of one of those little things where it put a chill up your spine. So kind of crazy. So this room, and then through here, the next room. Also, several rooms in the mansion. We get absolutely no activity, no feelings of energy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a wonderful view. Absolutely stunning view. And this connecting enclosed porch is one of the areas that we just never ever get any activity in, so we usually avoid it. A couple other bedrooms over there across the hall, we never get anything in either, but we kind of stick to the room. So what we've learned just in the course of some of the research that we've done is the reason why there's two big bedrooms right next to each other is the husband and wife did not sleep in the same rooms back in those days. I guess they had this used to be a little connecting hallway connecting them both, and they would just meet up every once in a while when they wanted to make a baby, I guess. So. But apart from that, they slept separately. But this is another room as well where we've captured a lot of the...
It's amazing. All right, thanks.
Kind of whistling, and it was really, really weird. And it always bothered me in a way. I don't know. It's just one of those. I don't know. I never really felt any negative feelings in here, but for some reason that whistle just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And but I would get it often, especially in this room here. And so that's why I kind of call these the whistle rooms. And but I think
it's not the pipes warming up or anything.
No. You know, I would because you would kind of hear that, right? Like we know what kind of sounds the furnace makes when it's kicking on, and just you have those little air pockets in the pipes and whatnot, so you get familiar with all the repetitious noises the house naturally makes. But yeah,
It's a definite whistle.
It was an actual.
Really?
Hide him and freak the kids out.
Exactly.
When they come around, just bang on it. Don't run out of here so fast.
So they do want us to wrap the tour up, so we can just come back down here to the main staircase.
Who's in here with us?
That's a get out.
Thank you.
Are these all bedrooms?
Pardon me?
Are they all bedrooms here?
Yeah, bedrooms back here.
Do you mind if we take a quick walk?
Yeah, for sure.
Can I have your flashlight here?
That area there we don't film really. This was part of the original house. It's just the dorms from when the nuns had it as a boarding school.
There's your ghost.
Who's in here with us?
That's a get out.
Thank you for tuning in. This is Admissions and 15 Adventures. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye. Well, we just finished our Halloween night at Overlynn. And I will tell you, being able to walk into some of those rooms it gives you a little bit of a chill. It's absolutely beautiful inside. I know the cost was $75,000 over 100 years ago. I'd love to have gone to the basement. The attic is off limit because of the asbestos. But wow. Cool night. I'll wait to see to put this together. Maybe I'll catch a ghost in the window.